Now what we have is, we have a second order differential equation, which we need to, but not it's ordinary, it's partial differential equation, which we need to solve. Now solving partial differential equations are really hard actually. So that's why we have to consider some of your special cases for solving this differential equation. So first such cases, so this was called your Fourier differential equation, and this gives you the relation how the heat flows in your linear medium from your hot end to your cold end. Now let's consider some of your special cases. Special cases. Now one such is when there is, or when the loss of heat by radiation is negligible. First case is heat loss by what? Radiation is negligible. Is negligible. In this case, what you can do, you can ignore this term. This term which is sitting over here, you can ignore this term, because this is a term which is coming from radiation. At this limit, or at this case, what you can do, you can ignore this term, and finally you will end up with what? K into del square theta by del x square should be equal to rho of del theta by del t. Basically just this. You don't have a radiation term over here. Where was C? I think we forgot C. We forgot C, which was sitting over here, sorry, which will be over here. C will be over here, so we will end up with rho C divided by K del theta by del T. Now for a given material, all of these three quantities are constant. All of these three quantities are constant. So what we write this as 1 by h. This we can write as 1 by h. So you'll end up with what? 1 by h d theta by dt, where h is how much? K by rho c. And this is basically your thermal diffusivity. Is called thermal diffusivity. Thermal diffusivity of rod. Now this is also just a constant. So this is one of the case for which your radiative heat was negligible. Now second case is steady state. Do you know about steady state? Once the system has reached this state, what? there will be no exchange of heat. Clear? Basically, what does this mean is your del theta by del t at a steady state will be 0. Which basically means if the two sides of the bar are at same temperature, then what? No heat will flow. Then it will attain a steady state. First, this part of the rod will start transferring its heat from this body to this body and keeps on rising the temperature of the other end of the bar. So at a certain time, what? You will reach a steady state where the rate of flow of heat will be what? 0. And that is basically, if you remember, that can be attained when, because from Newton's law of cooling, what you plotted temperature versus time, then you used to get this kind of graph, if you remember. This kind of curve, if you remember. So as the temperature first, initially it will keeps on decreasing, but at certain time, if you notice that it will become flat, del theta by del t will be 0 at certain limit, if you remember. Now this limit is called basically a what? Steady state. Now if we put this into our differential equation, then what we have, our differential equation, del square theta by del x square should be equal to 0 plus e p by ka into theta. Basically, you will end up with this. At the steady state, the loss of heat is only through radiation. Now on your right hand side, all of this quantity is what? Is it constant? This term is constant, so we'll consider this as mu square theta. So why we are considering mu square is, if you notice this, then this is certain kind of differential equation which we are familiar with. Now, why does this two special case make this easier? Because previously what you had second order differential equation, second order in position, and also you have first order in time. So basically it was a partial differential equation. So on considering a steady state, you converted a partial differential equation into ordinary differential equation. Now if you check, you have only derivative with respect to x. So over here, if you notice that E, P, K and A for given material is constant, so we'll consider that as what? E, P, K, A as mu square. So substituting that over here, what you'll get? Rho square into theta. Now we'll be able to solve this differential equation. The solution is very simple. The general solution for this is given by what? Solution for this is given by what? Theta is equals to a e to the power mu x plus b e to the power negative mu of x. Now this is the most general solution. Why? Because first you consider this. This will also solve this equation, because if you put theta over here, let's say theta is equals to a e to the power mu x, then it will be d theta by dx will be how much? A mu e to the power mu of x, and again you put it over here, then you will end up with what? A mu square e to the power mu of x, or basically del square theta by del x square will be mu square a e to the power mu x, and you know a e to the power mu x is what? Yeah, theta. So if you substitute this over here, then you'll end up with what? Basically mu square theta. So this was a differential equation which you started with. So this solution satisfies your differential equation. Now similarly, if we consider another solution, theta is equals to a e to the power negative mu of x, then what will happen? Then del theta by del x will be, if you take, it will come with negative e to the power negative mu x times of mu. And if you take a derivative with respect to position again, with respect to x, then you'll end up with what? Two negatives will cancel out. So you'll end up with mu square a e to the power mu x. Let's consider this as b. Sorry. Or even a also, actually it doesn't matter. So basically you will end up with what? Is equals to mu square theta. Again, you can see the negative, with this negative sign also, this will satisfy your differential equation. So when you get this two kind of independent solution, what you can write, if two solutions are independent and they are solution of a given differential equation, then what you can do, you can write them as a linear combination. The most general solution as a linear combination of all the known solution, all the solution. So in that manner, what we have done, we have had a linear combination of all the solution. Now here you can see how many unknown quantities are there. A and B, which is obvious because your differential equation was of second order. So at least you need two boundary condition, or one initial and one boundary condition. And what we have to determine this A and B from what? Boundary condition. Now how do we set up the boundary conditions? Suppose first is if the bar is infinitely long. Yeah. Bar is infinitely long. If the bar is infinitely long, what we can write? For the x or for the temperature, x is temperature above the surrounding hot theta, then basically yeah, x is equals to 0, here theta will be at constant temperature. Is this point clear? Initially, if your bar is infinitely long, consider, let's say the other end of the bar is temperature T equal to 0. This is roughly infinitely long, and this is at position what? X is equals to 0, and this is at x tending towards infinity. So if this is infinitely long, then we can safely say the temperature is constant at over here. We can safely say that temperature is constant over here, which is basically yeah, theta 0. So if you put this over here, what you will get? Theta 0 is equals to A e to the power 0 plus B e to the power negative 0 or 0. So basically you'll end up with what? Theta 0 is equals to A plus B. So this is your first equation. Equation 1. Now let's consider and what was another boundary condition? The temperature was 0 at the other end. So at the left side at x is equals to 0, you had a constant temperature. At the other end, you had what? Temperature to be 0. Now let's consider your second boundary condition. At at x tending towards infinity, what was the temperature over there? Theta was 0 basically. So you can again put it over there. So 0 should be equal to A e to the power infinity, let's consider this, plus B e to the power negative infinity. So e to the power negative infinity is basically a 0. So basically you will end up with what? This one. So which means you can see that e to the power infinity is not 0. And the only quantity that could be 0 is here basically A. So A equal to 0 is here one of the second equation. Now you have two variable and two equation. You can solve for each of this to get value of two constant. So your first equation was A plus B equal to theta 0. And your second equation is this. Now substituting this over here, you'll get what? B equal to theta 0. Clear? Now your final differential equation will be what? final differential equation was theta, or sorry, your final solution was, general solution was theta equal to a e to the power mu x plus b e to the power negative mu x. So substituting these two values over here, what you will get, a was 0. So theta will be 0 plus b was basically theta naught e to the power negative mu x. So basically a theta was theta equal to theta naught e to the power negative mu x. So what this equation represents is, this equation represents the excess of temperature of a point at distance x from a hot end after the steady state is reached, and this represents an exponential curve. Clear? Suppose let's say you have this temperature over here was 100 degrees Celsius and this was at 50 degrees Celsius, and the difference of temperature is roughly over here 50 degrees Celsius. Now basically this theta represents this excess of temperature, 50 degree difference of these two temperature. And this is how your temperature changes from different positions depending on how it's radiated outwards, how the heat moves outward from hotter zone to colder zone. Now again you can see this is basically what? Your exponential curve. Again the heat again moves in what manner? In the exponential manner. So if you plot temperature versus what? Theta versus x, then what you'll get? You'll get this kind of curve, and basically this point will be what? Theta naught. Initially, that was a difference in temperature between the 2 points when we consider infinitely long bar. Long bar. Because the temperature over here, let's say, was theta 0 and over here was 0. So the difference in their temperature or their excess temperature is theta naught. Basically, that is the difference between these two. So this is how the difference in temperature keeps on changing over time. And finally, the difference in temperature will become what? At a certain time, it will become what? Difference in temperature will become 0, then the heat will start flowing in position. Or I think it will lose all its energy. So that was the solution. And the equation is useful in different experiment. So as soon as the system reaches and steady state, what it will do? The heat will, or the temperature will decrease in an exponential manner. The excess of temperature will move out in an exponential manner. So I think we will stop over here. So till now, I think what we have done how the heat flows in a rectilinear bar. Rectilinear flow of heat from a linear bar. So finally, there was a difference in temperature over here with the boundary condition which we have considered. Yes, there was a difference in temperature and it was infinitely long. So we can take this difference to be what? Excess of temperature to be constant, because it's infinitely long between the two ends. If we consider one end and the other end. And on the other end, we have considered temperature to be 0, and on the other end, we have considered certain constant temperature. From that, we got the solution. And from the solution, we see that the excess of temperature at a point at given any x, distance x from hot and cold body, and as soon as the steady state is reached, it will represent an exponential curve. So tomorrow, we are going to do the final solution with different boundary condition. First, your boundary condition was infinitely long. Tomorrow, we are going to consider some boundary condition where your length is sufficiently long, but not infinitely long. So thank you very much. So tomorrow, we are going to again start.